Oh no.
So you afraid Satan, that mysterious man, and you keep saying, in hell keep living. Each time you know you're thinking wrong, devil for soul all over town. You're pretty devil, you're pretty bad. Well, look the devil right in your yard. And he grinning while you say grace, shaking up the tail in people's face. We devil day, we devil day, look the devil day.
Look the Devil Day by the late great Penguin. What a tune to start off this edition of I Belong to the House of Music, featuring the QOB, Queen of Bacchanal, Miss Destra Garcia.
Oh, gosh.
Listen, Destra, thank you so much for joining us inside the Wajang
Thanks for having
discotheque.
me. I like the name already. I Wajang too.
Yes, and that's why it's so wonderful to have you in this space with us, talking about some of the songs that have shaped your trajectory as an artist, as a woman, as a Trinbagonian in this space. And you know, part of the mission of I Belong to the House of Music is to go back into our musical archive and say, but this song was a big tune. And I know that certainly you remember this song from when it came out. It was 1980 or 81. It was somewhere in the early 80s, because I remember I was in primary school. And this song was huge when it came out.
So was I.
And the idea that this devil was there, lurking somewhere. But also that what Penguin is saying in the song is actually the devil is not some imaginary character that lives somewhere else.
Right.
The devil
That's the depth
right
of the song.
there. The devil right there manifesting in our lives in certain ways. So I want to enter into the conversation with you today inside the House of Music as somebody who belongs to the House of Music generationally, and you know, through your own personal choice to become part of this House of Music. What was that soundscape like, and what was it like being a child hearing calypso and hearing all the other types of music that you would have heard in Desperately Crescent, right down the road from Desperados, and then later on in Mango Alley?
Well, music was always in my household. Soca, calypso, and other things. But at carnival time, absolutely, the culture was very, very much alive. My uncles, they played in Despas, and I always looked forward to wearing the Despas t-shirt on a carnival Friday. So carnival Thursday, Uncle Steve would normally bring home the Despas t-shirt, and I would wear it to school with a pair of tights or jeans or whatever. So I would look forward to that every single year. And songs like we just heard and other songs really, you know, was excitement, you know, because like even now listening to it, I'm thinking, what was I that year? Because I played mass every year. I've been a carnival baby for as long as I remember, you know, coming down from the hill, walking over the hill, coming down by Keats, walking around the savannah, performing in Keats, performing in Junior Calypso Monarch. Listen, carnival for me has been, you know, my life. People would not know that. They'll just think, you know, soca artist, you know, she started singing. But no, it was calypso first. And the influences of pan, steel band is very much in my nature. So I'm listening to that song just now and I'm like, what band I was in again? Did I play Wild Indian? Was I a pirate? No, I think I was a fancy sailor. And I can't even remember, but I do remember you know, the moments of like being on the street, the stretch there going to the savannah and you're stuck by the hospital. You're there with your friends and your mommy coming to give you some kind of snow cone or some kind of burger.
With the ears.
Yeah, or some kind, yeah, with the ears. You know, so I just got a really happy memory of that. Just being standing there with my brothers, cousins, friends, face painted up, you know, because that was a thing. You know, even if you, nowadays people, they go for the face beat, but back then, it's glitter on top of Vaseline and
And your cane roll with the beads
and
at the end with the little piece of foil.
I had that, oh my God! That was so good. Oh my God, that was a nice memory I just got back there.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Wow. So I came from far with all this music thing, and my uncles were always a part of my carnival experience. Even later on in life, as I started to, you know, grow, they would play a lot of soca in the car, a lot of the older soca or calypso that they like. And you see this song with Penguin, my uncle Junior, he plays that to date. I remember a time we were in New York. Well, that's one uncle. It's two brothers, Uncle Steve and Uncle Junior. And they were the cultural ambassadors in my life. One like Fete and Bacchanal, and the next one was Pan and culture and whatever. But not to take away from any of my mom's other brothers who were also very cultural. You know, there was Uncle Kelvin, Uncle Bernard. They were all cultural. So I was surrounded by these men that were very cultural in the music and in the instrument, supporting me with my music, you know, walking me over the hill to go to where we're going, because I came from humble beginnings, so it's not like you could take a car to go everywhere. Sometimes you had to walk over the hill. So it was nice living in Laventille. It's just like, I guess, living in Belmont, where you could just, you know, walk to everything. Yeah. In the savannah, not far. When they say, where you going? I'm going over the savannah. Oh, you're going over the hill, you know? Right. So fun memories growing up with music as timed as this, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, certainly your father played an instrument as well. Your grandfather was also a musician. Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit later about the Spanish influence and how that is creeping more and more
that's
into
the other
your
side.
music.
That's the other side.
That's the other side. But yeah, I mean, the instrumentation. How did that musical family then become instrumental in, you know, those first years of you taking part in the Junior Calypso? And do you remember any of the songs that you sang?
Of course, I remember my first calypso. It was called Come on Entrance, and it's funny because, you know, my first calypso is when I started Come on Entrance. Well, before I did, since I small, they sent me to school, so I wouldn't come out a fool. But I know and I understand that I need a education. School days used to be so much fun, running and playing in the hot sun. Now Come on Entrance is all I hear. It is really too much for me to bear, and I tell you, I can't watch TV, Come on Entrance. I can't go party, Come on Entrance. I can't have recess, Come on Entrance. My life is a mess, Come on Entrance. I can't play with toys, and I must keep away from boys, like I in a trance, till I pass me Come on Entrance.
Kaiso. Beautiful. So was that a song that you worked on, or was it written for you?
That was actually my very first calypso, and it was written for me by my teacher, Janice Roach.
Right.
And she taught me how to use the stage, how to hold the mic, how to, you know, use my hands to explain or whatever. But after that, for the next set of years, I wrote my own compositions and competed every year.
And you were Junior Calypso Monarch 5 years in a row.
In school.
In school.
Yes.
5 years in a row. So from what
I'm
age?
not telling you. I'm not telling. Well, I can tell you the age, not the year.
No, yeah. We're not calling any years. We're not calling any years.
The year when I sang Come on Entrance, I was in Standard 5, so the next year I entered with that in Form 1.
Right.
And then after that, I had to defend my crown every year, so that's why I kept writing calypsos and also entered into the NCC Junior Monarch. They were happy when I left, to be honest. And I think when I was in Standard 5, I got the scare that I wouldn't win because they started to get some younger people coming in, and I saw myself in them, and I was like, no! I want to win for 5 years straight! And I did. They actually called me back in St. James Sec to give me an award.
Yeah.
With all the years and all the names of all the songs. That was quite nice, quite nice.
Wonderful. DJ, short drop. Next tune, please.
The boss. Who's the boss? The boss. A woman's place was always in the home, while she husband went outside and roam. Since the beginning of time, we standing in line, taking we grind, following behind. Now we woman have changed because without remorse, woman is boss. When it comes to caring, sharing and achieving, woman is boss.
What a tune. I mean, I remember Denise Plummer coming out and having a really hard time
Yeah.
making a mark in the calypso world. Not just because she was white presenting Trinidadian. And, you know, I think unfortunately for us, we still have boxes within
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
we want people to operate.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have a problem with, you know, an Indian person doing this particular thing, or an African person doing this particular
Yeah.
thing, or a white Trinidadian doing this particular thing.
Yeah.
And so there was some pushback
Yeah.
for Denise, but I mean that has eventually turned around, and she has become one of
Yeah,
our
of
most
course,
beloved
of course.
singers. But also as a woman in the industry, when there was like a handful of women who were
Yeah.
coming forward and doing that kind of work, what does this song represent for you? Coming from a totally perhaps a different generation of women who, you know, there's a lot more visibility, there's a lot more presence, but maybe still some of the same challenges that Denise Plummer would have faced in '87.
Well, I think challenges for women, even outside of music, is ongoing. And it's something that no matter how much we address it, how much we draw light it, it's always a situation or a problem. When I first heard this song, or rather, when I first saw this song, because for me, seeing the song was more of what it was, seeing her perform in the competitions, seeing her charisma. I was automatically drawn to her strength because I had seen her perform other songs before, even in the toilet paper
era,
that period. And then I found that it was really brave of her to come back and come back and come back and not even like run off the stage in tears. At that time, I mean, being a child, I'm like, wow, you know, she's really
She has more
tough.
belly than a calabash.
Yeah, she's tough. And then you're hearing the adults talking around
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
admiring her strength. And then hearing a song like this, where even if you didn't like Denise Plummer, because of what she was singing about, you immediately felt like you need to rally behind her because she's singing about us. She's singing about women being strong. And on every level and at every age, you have challenges as a female, whether you're in primary school, whether you're in secondary school, in the workplace, in church, wherever you are. As a female, you know, you reach for certain goals, and sometimes you know you're good. You know you can do a job, or you know you could excel, but yet still, you know, you're just a woman. And I loved the fact that she brought that to the forefront of everyone's minds, to have us all sing this song as an anthem, and it still is today. This is one of the songs that I've always said that I wanted to remake, you know. Now she's into gospel, I can't do it as a collab, but maybe I can do this song over someday, you know. It really resonates with my spirit as a female, and the fights and the battles that I've had to go through on my own as well in the industry. So a song like this is timeless. And a song like this should be in every school book, or it should be part of every empowerment program, or every girl's talk. A song like this, for real, because that mantra, woman is boss, it is true. And so many females nowadays don't see themselves as having that strength. And when you listen to a song like this, it really empowers you beyond. It makes you feel like, yeah, hell yeah, I could do anything. You hear what that woman just said? Yeah, we change the course without remorse. Woman is boss. Yeah. And that is really a mantra to live by. When you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror, if you feel any kind of way, amongst other songs that you could sing, this is one of those, you know, when you're going into the workplace of men, like myself. You look in the mirror and you say, yeah, no, I name woman.
Yeah, yeah. But certainly, the way that the society is right now, it's like you read in newspapers and it's almost as if, you know, the kinds of crimes that are being perpetrated against women's bodies, especially, they are kind of, you know, well, no, actually you're not the boss. There's a kind of response from the men in the society that, you know, we are not the boss in a particular kind of way. Yeah. How does your presence as an artist, as a woman on the front line of a very male-dominated industry, challenge that and reinforce and perhaps give, again, women the strength to get up and say, I am the boss and I could do this, I could survive another day? Yeah.
Well, you know, it's weird. A question like that really takes different forms. Because here I am, a female in an industry like this, where sexuality reigns. As a female, I was telling someone that the other day, a colleague. I said, you men could put on a wife beater, old jeans, a slipper, and go and make a video. Nobody cares. As a female, there has to have some level of sexuality for you to even watch the video twice. You know, it really creates that pressure, but at the same time also, there are some females that get lost in the idea of the sexual model. Where you feel that being a sexual model or a sex symbol means that you have to be promiscuous or you have to be welcoming to the advances when it is not so, right? Singing a song like Lucy is very empowering because it's like you could be sexual, you could be, you know, feminine, you could embrace the curves of your body, you can wear outfits that accentuate it, but that doesn't give anybody the permission to touch or to comment. It doesn't give you permission because at the end of the day, we're still wearing clothes. Yes, the fashion trends have changed. And I mean, there are some people that take it overboard. And then you would find people saying, yeah, but when you wear this and your bumsy cheeks hanging out, what you expect? I expect respect. Because if I don't give you permission to touch me, then you shouldn't. Yeah. This is Sticks and Stones. It relates to here too. Say what you want. Don't touch. And I think it's in the touching that we have the problem because people tend to think, oh, she looked for that. If you hear about somebody getting raped, or you bring in a sexual molestation charge, and that's how you carry about yourself. That's how you dress. How did I carry about myself? I dressed in a sexy manner, right? I accentuated my curves. It's not my fault that you have a curve.
You're showing what God give you. God give me this.
All right.
I celebrate
if fitted tights in, and I have a voluptuous body, and I put on my fitted tights. What am I supposed to do? Because I know that it have sicko men out there, I have to put on a big t-shirt to hide my beautiful curves? No.
Shouldn't have to do that.
Some men need to just take it down and be respectful. And remember that they have sisters and a mother and aunties and treat you as such. And we have men like that, huh? I'm not ponging men, because we have men that respect women. I applaud them. But then there are some of them that feel like women are objects, that women are not our equals, that women are there to be mistreated or abused. And you see, that is one of my pet peeves. Come around me, the queen of Bacchanal, and I will show you how to do it.
We will deal with you.
We'll deal with you. Woman is boss.
Shut up. Next tune. Quick.
Oh, God.
Yeah, yeah.
Breaking 10494, this is the big truck passing.
Yeah. Hey, bang, bang, ding, 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 ding. Bang, bang, ding, 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 ding. What we say? Give me now. Don't ride the truck, mama, ride the truck and jump on. I say ride the truck, mama, ride the truck and jump on. Hey, ride the truck, mama, ride the truck and jump on. Ride the truck, mama, ride the truck and jump on. Say, Juve morning children
Bang, badang, bang, bang. Big truck.
Big tune.
Big tune. You know, a watershed tune in the trajectory of soca.
Yeah.
It totally turned the road march on its head. But Machel is also a collaborator of yours, a big brother, somebody who you've worked with. And, you know, can I just refer to the tabanka that everybody has for that song? It's Carnival, the greatest carnival song that never won road march.
You know, it's 20 years this year.
Yeah, I know it's 20 years. And still, every time I hear that song, I get a little emotional, my eyes fill up with tears, you know. You think about that carnival and, you know, the sensation of being on the road and hearing that song, regardless of the year that song plays. I know what it means to me. What does it mean to you?
Well, it's strange that, you know, you'd ask me about it's carnival on the heels of hearing Big Truck. Because there are two things that happened there. One, Big Truck was my infatuation period with Machel Montano.
Yeah.
I loved that song. I could be on the street, I could be at home, I could be in a fete. And that's when I just started partying with my auntie and uncles and them, right? So when I heard Big Truck, I would tell everybody, move, you know, because I need space. And my waistline would not stop moving from the beginning of the song to the end. And I would change that wine a million times. When I wine in one way, and then my waist get tired, I change it to something else.
So sorry, Destra, you're an ambi whiner. Is that what you're saying? Can you wine clockwise and counterclockwise?
Of course.
Okay, all right, cool.
Of course.
Continue.
Not only that, you're whining slow, you're whining fast, you give it a different angle, you go down. Basically, people don't understand. To whine constantly, you have to change it.
Yes.
So that, you know, you give it a little rest, a little relax. But anyway, when that song came out, I followed Machel Montano everywhere. My aunt and I, well, my aunt is 10 years older than me, so we were in the same kind of range where she could take me to parties and stuff. And everywhere Machel was. There was one time my uncle put me on his shoulder and I was in front of the stage and Machel was saying, Toro, Toro. And I was like, he gave me his rag. And listen, I put that on my wall for years. And just the idea that he was going to sing a song with me was blew my mind, first of all.
Yeah.
Then when the song came out and it was playing and people were like, Destra and Machel, Machel and Destra, whatever. I was like, is this for real? So for me, it was a lot of that at first, you know, wow, I can't believe it. I can't believe I did a song with Machel. I can't believe I did a song with Machel. And then as the years went by, every year, this song, it was just timeless. Nobody got fed up of it. It was, even now, it's 20 years of the song being created, and people are still playing it in every fete that you go to. You must hear it's Carnival.
Yeah.
And that is phenomenal for me to look back. Machel and I were talking about it the other day, and he said, wow, 20 years already? He said, again, old boy. but you know, it was just as exciting as it was for you all to hear it. It was exciting for me to really record it and see its fruitfulness throughout the years.
Yeah.
There were children that were born in that song and still party today. There are people that were teenagers that still party today. And I meet people and they're like, oh my gosh, when I was a child, I'm like, you start back. Don't start so. Don't start so. You know? But yeah, timeless. I love it. And yeah, amazing.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. It was a moment. I mean, certainly because, you know, this year will be the first carnival that we're having in 2 years. It certainly will have a different kind of resonance to it this year again. And talking about timelessness of songs, you know, Carnival has become like a kind of song mill. The impetus to create music, to put out a slew of songs, to have music that's playing during the season so that you have a successful year going through the circuit of all of the carnivals. you know, for a song to have that kind of longevity within that framework that soca now has, you know. But you also have several other songs like that have that kind of longevity. What do you think is the secret to that longevity of some of your music?
Well, people like to say a good song is a good song, but it's not just having a good song in a season. It's the emotions that go with a song. And I think sometimes, or at least in the very early period of my career, people were more into emotional songs. Now people are into songs to mash up the place, but you call that the fast food of the industry. I think I was in a really great era where vocals and melody and lyrics were key. And those things resonate with a lot of people throughout the years. The children were singing these songs. The adults were singing these songs. And when you take the era of how far it stretched and you just take it down 10, 20 years, it's still the same people there. It's just they've changed roles, you know, and the fan base as well. The fan base has been really devoted to the brand, you know, and I think people support not just because they like someone and they like the music, but it's a holistic package. And through the years and touring, you keep the music alive by performing it all the time. And I never not perform certain songs. And they stay alive too, because you keep reminding people, this is why you like this song. Oh, that's what that song does. Oh my God, I love this song. And then if you're partying with your niece or your nephew or whatever, it continues for another generation and so on, and so on and so on. But the music itself is of really great standard and quality. I'm not saying that the music now isn't, but for now, we have so much music. We have so much music. You have to give everything a chance, and nothing really gets a chance to stick to go forward, because every year you have great music coming forward, you know? So,
and especially in short seasons like this one. Especially in short season. Short drop, next tune.
Boy, boy!
Come Betty. Movement. Yeah, Johnny time. Come with it. A woman come down from India, tell me she love a piece of soca, want to sing a verse in Hindi. So she grab hold of my guitar, then start to deliver. This is what it sound like to me. This is what it sound like, jamming on me all night. This is what it sound like to me. Chade, burka chade, burka jade, burka ji. Burka chade, burka chade, taka tolki nani, jolki nani. Burka chade, taka tolki nani, burka chade, taka tolki nani, burka chade, taka tolki nani. Chutney, bakana, chutney, kanaba, chutney, bakana, chutney, kanaba. Oh lad, oh yo, chutney, bacchanal. Body start to shiver, my body start to quiver, just vibing on this new wave chutney. The woman gone in a frenzy, wailing up she body, and I am all in sweet ecstasy. This is what it sound like, jamming on me all night. This is what it sound like to me.
Chutney Bacchanal by the beloved sexiest man alive, Chris Garcia. That's a great song choice, Destra. I mean, this is also one of those fun songs that will live forever in our, you know, it's almost like a kind of, you know, hilarious pop song that, you know, when it comes on, you feel like this kind of silliness, this playfulness, this, fun that I think embodies the carnival spirit.
For me, I remember this song being in primary school still. And I remember my friends going crazy for the carnival jump up to this song. And, you know, you're little, so, you know, you're just jumping up and you're following the instructions of the video, because that video played everywhere. So you're going, you know. But it was a fun time. Very similar to the memory of playing mass, the carnival jump up. you know, with your friends on Carnival Friday. I think all my carnival experiences is that Carnival Friday into the weekend and, you know.
Yeah.
But Chris, funny story, and truth be told, Chris Garcia and I are actually cousins.
What? Oh, yes, of course. Of course.
Actually, pumpkin vine cousins. We have family in South that we share. So later on in life, I was like, wait now. Me and Chris Garcia related, and then I thought about all the silly moments of when I was a kid. I told him about it, of course. You know, but at that time, he was absolutely the sexiest man alive. You know, with his T-shirt off, and his abs, and
the long hair.
And the long hair, and the skin looking like some kind of... He was nice. I mean, okay, don't judge me. I was in primary school, but you know, primary school girls how we are.
Oh gosh, but to go back into, you know, the story of your family and, you know, the many strings and threads that bring together your family in that very classic Caribbean, also Trinbagonian way.
Yeah.
You know, you have family from St. Vincent, Grenada,
Barbados.
Barbados. I mean, and I have a very similar story as well.
Yeah.
But all of those different mixes and influences and inspirations that are part of this landscape. How do you draw on all of those different bits of you to make this full queen of Bacchanal?
Well, Bacchanal sounds to me like a callaloo, huh? So we done good there already. But through the years, because I know a lot about my ancestry on my mother's side, and I think I revealed that more this year in releasing Fuego and telling people about my European Spanish heritage on my mother's side. Because you would think that because I'm a Garcia, you would think that it's on my dad's side, but no, the European Spanish, my mother's grandmother was actually from Spain. And her parents were from France and Spain. They all came to Trinidad in colonial times and reproduced some of that. And that grandmother of my mother's, she got married to a Grenadian man. And then my grandmother got married to a Vincentian man. So that's the mix-up on that side.
That's where the African comes in.
Yeah, that's on that side. And then on my father's side, my great-grandfather was Venezuelan. And he got married to a Bajan woman, but they lived in Trinidad.
Right.
And then my grandfather, who played the sax, he got married to a Tobagonian. So I have some Tobagonian in my... Although we say Trinidad and Tobago, people don't like to relate the two. It's either you're Tobagonian or a Trini. But I have both in me, right? When I visit these places, it comes alive. So when I used to go to St. Vincent very early on, I would say, oh, my grandfather was from Union Island. Does anybody here live on Sion Hill? Because he had some family there too. And then people are like, I'm your cousin. Only recently, I found my family in St. Vincent. I'm yet to find my family in Venezuela and other parts. But I do see, because of the energy of the people in these places, I do see it in myself. Yeah. So there's a craziness with Vincentian people, and I am that crazy when I am on stage. Grenadians know how to party. They have that energy. They don't care. They just, you know, that job spirit, and I have it in me. You know, and then you have Tobago blood. You have Bajan walk up. I love to walk up, you know. So I see it in myself. And recently, with the release of Fuego, I really embraced that side of myself. I mean, I'm bilingual, well, trilingual. I speak French, I speak Spanish. And I never knew why it was so easy for me to learn these languages, but now I know. It's in my blood, it's in my heritage. And so I connect with different aspects of my heritage and my bloodlines through music and culture and just different things. And I feel it. Like if I go to France, you know, my love for wines, when I go to Bordeaux or whatever, I feel natural. It's like, hey, you know, oh, she does. Or if I go to a bakery and I start speaking in French and they're like, oh, your French is very good. Ton français, c'est bien. You know, I'm like, merci beaucoup. You know, and it's a different embrace and that you get different places when you tell them, well, you know, I have this in me or I have that in me. And you feel at home and you feel welcome. When I go Grenada and I go by the rum shop and I drink in with them, they say, come now, man, you have to take a bush wine. There we go. You say you're Grenada. And then you know, and it's just a nice vibe, feeling welcome by everyone, and it all adds to who this Queen of Bacchanal is.
You know, because of how class-ridden our society is, you know, people watching this interview would say, oh, a girl from Laventie could talk French.
Of course, bien sûr, je peux parler français très très bien.
Knows about Bordeaux. How is this possible?
How is it possible?
But, you know, what you are describing is the world coming to Trinidad, whether by force or by choice. The world has come to Trinidad, and it certainly is manifest in the music and in the art that we have created and thrown back out to the world. So even within, you know, the trauma of some of those journeys, even within the challenges of moving from here and leaving your family here and finding family in another place, you know, you then have this beautiful thing that emerges, which is the Queen of Bacchanal. And it really is amazing. And, you know, also I feel that, you know, people, when I heard Fuego, I was like, oh, this is tapping into the very recent migration of
the Venezuelans.
But then this is your people.
This is my people, and this is my story.
This is your story as well.
My story.
You know, we constantly see Trinidad as, you know, something that happened in the past and not an ongoing and unfolding history. And so, you know, to see the video as well in the middle of Bungmalatris,
where my family's house is,
right? with a new generation of people who are coming, and you know, it's exciting to think how this new generation is going to change the shape and form of the music that is being created. But certainly Fuego is doing that in a way to include and pull them in and say, all right, this is all they think too. We had to come
exactly. And that was the point. That was the point, to introduce myself to them and let them know, listen, hello, it's Destra, last name Garcia. I want to see you wine to the beat here, pushing back bumper out in the street here. And if you don't know what to do, let me teach you. And then I start talking in Spanish. So they understand, dale para abajo, come on, go down low. And for the Trinis that listening, you know, it's like, I put a little English to translate so you can catch up, and let's get bilingual, everyone.
Yeah, we too close. It's 7 miles separating
us.
Short drop. Next tune.
We need more drinks.
Yes, don't worry. The late great Sandra Dedeans Millington singing Sandra, Die With My Dignity. Another song that brings up the whole question of women in the industry and in Trinidad and Tobago facing challenges in the workplace.
Challenges in the workplace, not alone, huh?
And in the home as well.
And in the home, and just generally being a female facing challenges of respect, which we touched on a little before. But this song was my mantra growing up. In fact, my mom and singing Sandra were in the same class in primary school. So my mom was one of those people that, you know, when your friend become famous, you're like, that's my friend. You know? And when I met Sandra, I said, Auntie Sandra, you know, you and my mommy were friends in school, and when she found out who my mom was, she was like, yes. She fondly remembered, you know. And my mother always told me, she said, you hear what Sandra sing? You better keep your head up. Don't let no man disrespect you. And thing. And she always talk that kind of talk with me, you know. And growing up, that song, at every point, my mom loved to sing the song, first of all. Especially when she making a point, she would sing the song to make the point. And I would remember fondly the words in any situation that I was in from a very early age. I mean, I have to give mom the credit, but also my dad, because from a very early age, I had challenges being a female and standing up for myself. I remember I was probably 13, the same age my daughter's going to be Saturday, and walking, because I used to travel. I was traveling from 7, mind you, by myself. People are like, you can't think about that now. There's no way.
No way.
I'm letting my 7-year-old go out there by themselves. But for some strange reason, it seemed normal then. And I remember at 13, I was coming up the block by the corner, up Mango Alley corner. And some guys were there, catcalling me, psst, family, hey. And it used to make me very uncomfortable because I would walk faster. I would avoid it. If I see them, I'd walk to the other side of the pavement. And I told my dad about it because my dad was a guy around. He was a fellow who knew everybody on the block. So I felt like he could say something from...
Intervene.
Right. He said, who's having the problem? Me or you? So I found that strange, first of all, because you don't expect that from your father. Little did I know he was trying to teach me a very vital lesson for the rest of my life. He said, if you have a problem with something, say something. I would not be there for your entire life. I can't keep fighting your battles. If you have a problem with people calling your family, whoever, say something. Don't walk away or come and tell your father what you want me to do, go and beat them with a stick. And the very next time they did, I called them on it. And I was so aggressive, I scared myself, but the aggression was because I was afraid.
Yes.
And
so it just came out.
It came out
wild.
It came out wild, and I was like, "You're not my family, and I'm not your family, and it's not your brother, your sister, your man, nobody. Don't call me no family." And I said, "Psst," and hey, and none of that. So I was like, "All right. So what's your name?" I said, "My name is Destra." "All right, Destra. All right." I said, "Don't call me that again." "All right." And the next day, they called me Destra until now, you know, Destra. And I always remember that. And I always promised myself to teach my daughter these same values. You can't always, as a parent, fight the battles for your children. You have to teach them how to fish for themselves. You can't keep getting the fish and cooking it. You have to show them how to catch the fish, how to cook the fish, and how to eat it. If they enjoy a certain way of life, or they want to have a certain level of freedom, or they want to have a certain comfort. And for me, it was just comfort in walking that corner. I couldn't take it, and my dad showed me how, and that was amazing. So that was something to be added to all the times my mother told me, hey, stand up for yourself as a female, never do this, never do that. So I grew up in a household where I was the first child of 4, and I had to teach the rest from what I learned. And I became a great big sister to my sister now, you know?
Yeah, wonderful.
Yay!
Short drop, tune.
Give praise, children. Give praise. Give praise, children. Yeah. Give praise. Give praise, children. Yeah. Give praise. Give praise, children. Our Father who has given us His arms that we can all feel like we're a part of this earthly heaven.
Mass, David Michael Rudder, taking the carnival to the place where it should be is as a sacred experience.
Yeah.
You know, so far you've talked so much about your experiences of carnival, being with your friends, being a community experience with your family, you know, engaging with the carnival through the eyes of not just yourself, but as, you know, and for some people, that is what church is.
Yeah.
You know, that's where we find communion with others, you know. And I know there'll be some that say that's sacrilegious because carnival is such a, you know, is seen as scandalous and profane and obscene, etc., etc. But the choice of that song as well as a, you know, as a healing balm and a reminder to us of the sacredness of the time.
David Michael Rudder is someone I grew up listening to. He was a hero of Laventille. We know that. From the time he sang Hammer, which I got the opportunity to remix with him on my album, Laventille. That song, for me, I mean, you have such a great way with words and you put things in perspective so well. It's like you're thinking it, but you're saying it. Carnival, to most people, they see it as something demonic or something, I don't know. But I always ask myself this question. I grew up in a religious household. My father is a pastor, still practicing, still praying, still healing, still doing all these things of God. So then why did God put me here? You know, I love God. I believe in God. So why did he put me here in this industry? Why did he bless me with so many fans that, you know, not just into the music, but into my personality and what I stand for and things like that. And for me, carnival, like you said, is not about the jam and the joking and the gyrating, but the freedom. For me, carnival is freedom. To be able to walk the streets with everybody else and not look weird putting on underwear. You know? I mean, to some people looking on, they could say, oh my God, that is blasphemous. How could she say God and carnival and walking down the street in underwear in the same sentence? Because I'm real, you know? Adam and Eve were born naked or created naked. If there was such a thing as being wrong without clothes, then why did God create them that way?
But everybody born naked.
Right.
You don't come in a full suit.
Correct. So that's where there's a little bit of a disconnect for me. I don't think it's so much the nakedness, but the behaviors in the naked form, right? That creates the controversy. For me, carnival and the music, all right, we talked about it's carnival. We talk about Look the Devil Day with Penguin. We talk about so many songs that meant so much to me, and all I could remember, and if you asked me to sum it up in one word, I would say freedom. Because in that moment, I was free. In that moment, I could jump. In that moment, I could get as out of breath as I want, catch my breath, have a snow cone, drink some water, meet my friends, hug my friends. That's a moment of love and freedom. And it's overwhelming. To be without that for 2 years, I didn't think I'd miss carnival so much, but I did. And now that we're in 2023, I know some people may not agree, but I'm looking forward to Juve because I've never played before. I have never played Juve. There you have it, never. But I've played Mass a million times and I missed the freedom. I missed my friends. I missed not being able to go on the road with some people that I may have played with that are now gone. Because they didn't make it. And I know that is a sentiment embodied by everyone, and you feel like you have to go on the road and play Mass for everyone that is going to miss it. And I don't care what anybody else thinks. Unless you experience the true heart of what carnival truly means, take away the vulgarity. I know you could say, how can you take it away, Israel? Take away the vulgarity. Take away the things that are on the surface and get to the meat of what carnival means. Put on your longest outfit, your longest gown and frock, and come and enjoy carnival in it. And we have different varieties of bands. You don't want to be naked on the road. It's the energy and the vibe of carnival that drives us as a people in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's something that cannot be replaced. And this is why people come from all over the world to Trinidad and Tobago, because this is the Mecca of how we feel and how we play mass and how we incorporate all of it to make it what it is.
So we have one more tune.
Yes!
from somebody who will not be with us in this carnival this year. Leroy Callies, the Black Stallion.
Uncle Leroy, I just call him Uncle Leroy.
Uncle Leroy. What are some of your favorite memories of Uncle Leroy as a performer, as a human being, and as, you know, somebody who also changed the landscape, changed the, you know, the energy of the calypso by making it funky, but so conscious.
Yeah, he was indeed funky, huh? Well, Leroy Callies is the best friend of my soca daddy, Roy Keith. So that's how I met him and interacted with him mostly. I remember fondly looking at him on the March Grand night because most times if he bring out a song, he in the finals. And I say this knowing that Auntie Patsy is watching, his wife. We're gonna miss him. His music. He's been away and we've missed him. You know, missed being able to touch and see him and talk to him. But just knowing that he doesn't breathe the same air as you now, and it's final, it's like Shadow or Kitchener or anybody else that has passed that you grew up listening to. And I remember his smile that he would come on stage with, the Bacchanal face, because he had a Bacchanal face. He would come on stage and had a mic going so, pelting it like it was light as a feather. And just bringing the Bacchanal way. When he says something and he stick out his tongue, you know what you say. He know what you say. And he stick out his tongue to make you know, I just cause a Bacchanal, you know. I love Tonight the Black Man Feeling to Party because it always made couples get up and dance, you know. And you didn't have to be black. You just had to be from Trinidad and Tobago and you enjoy that song. I love that song, and I loved his performance of it, and I love when he ball, woyo, woyo, and he give you that dance, you know. He is iconic, and I say is because an icon lives forever, and we're gonna miss him.
Destra, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Inside the House of Music in the Wajan Discotheque. In the Wajan Discotheque. I hope you have a wonderful season.
Thank you.
And you know that it's safe, that it's fulfilling, rewarding, and full of Bacchanal and the sweetest wines. The sweetest wines.
Yes, thank you very much. Tella Willa.
Tonight we going and have some fun. I just feel it to party the way we used to when we was young. Just put on something sexy so you'll be free to move around. Make sure the children okay. We ain't coming home until morning come. Tonight the black man feeling the party. Tonight the black man feeling the jam, 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 jam. Tonight the black man just feels the boogie woogie. Come on, hold on to your man, and let me do a little